Welcome to session 10. We're going to talk a little bit about electrical safety testing today, as well as patient monitors. We have covered patient monitors before. As you all know, we're in a phase of the Preparation for Biomedical Professionals series where we're revisiting old topics and discussing some of the more detailed, more nuanced information based on your requests and your questions so that we can make sure everything's tailored and relevant. I'm going to move to the next slide. Okay, very good. So as I said, we'll talk a little bit about electrical safety and patient monitors first, and then we'll move on to a case study originally presented by our friends in Ethiopia, Tebehe Bayene and Teriku Bedasa. They are from Addis Ababa Tegbarid Polytechnic College, and they put together, I think, 10 small case studies so that you could see exactly what they've faced, what challenges they've had, and how to go about fixing them. If you're new around here, please remember that the foundation of our conversation is love and respect. Please respond kindly rather than react if you disagree. You can test your equipment ahead of time when you join. Mute your microphone in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen when you're not speaking, and remember to unmute and also introduce yourself when you do speak. We'll open things up for discussion at the end, so you can file your questions away in the chat or just write them down. If you're in a large room, stay close to your microphone when you speak, and if you have any issues at all, you can chat us or email us at assisthtm@assistinternational.org. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Guna to learn a little bit more about electrical safety testing.
Okay. Hi, we're going to talk about electrical safety tests, but this time by using multimeter, something different. So everyone know what is electrical safety analyzer here, the advantage of it. So the ability to measure line voltage, device current without any modification on the medical device or any connection. Just plug to the device and you connect to the power line and you do the measurement, and you can simulate most of the single fault condition and normal condition by using this device. And the ability to check leakage level of AC/DC circuit, the frequency range of 25 to 1 megahertz, direct measurement, and a microamp measurement. It can test all type of leakage by using this device for medical device, and you can measure apply part, all that. And quite a lot of safety features in the sense of you don't need to do any single fault modification to do the testing. Using multimeter as a safety analyzer, you can do certain measurement, but the dangerous part is when you want to do live and device current measurement, all that would be dangerous and single fault condition because you need to do some modification. Multimeter only give you measurement of positive and negative and live or neutral. But what happens is when you do single fault condition, you need to have something that you can work with. But what happens is with a multimeter, you need to do some modification like open neutral, open earth, all this. So that's a disadvantage. You cannot do direct AC/DC measurement of 25 hertz, 1 megahertz on microamp, because it doesn't have most of the meters doesn't have microamp features like a normal multimeter. But if you're talking about benchtop, you got advantage with the microamp. But still, you can use a normal multimeter by using millivolt measurement. So 1 millivolt is equal to 1 microamp. So it's a conversion of a calculation on the electronics. So you can use 1 millivolt equal to 1 microamp. So you need to set your multimeter on 1 millivolt. And you cannot do main on apply parts by using this device because of the dangers of electricity, all that. So you can do certain tests, but with a simple circuit involved. So if you see, that's an additional thing that we did by using a normal socket. We got normal condition, single fault condition, open neutral, single fault condition, open earth, and single fault condition reverse. So what we did is basically we did remove the neutral earth and did the reverse condition on the normal extension plug point. So by plugging the medical device on each, you can simulate the fault. So this is an additional thing that you need to do if you want to do it with multimeter testing. Okay, this is the earth bonding test. Normally you can use continuity test, measure from the plug point of earth line, the center one for class 1, then to the equipment equipotential. So you can measure the earth resistance and it should be 0.3. And when you measure voltage, you need to use on VSC. Incoming voltage, the voltage that incoming, you can use VSC to measure that. Leakage current test, you need to set your multimeter to millivolt. So remember 1 millivolt is equal to 1 microamp on this particular setting. Even though you're using millivolt, but your measurement is, you have to convert to microamp. So that's a method you need to do when you do measurement. You need to have 1 kilo resistor and 0.15 microfarad in parallel connection, and you connect your multimeter in between. The millivolt is representing your multimeter in and you have to set to millivolt because you must have an impedance of 1 mega. So this particular circuit will provide that particular 1 mega impedance on the circuit. So leakage current testing. Normally you're going to do normal condition and single fault condition. Type of test that you're going to do is leakage current, touch current, or well known as enclosure current, and patient leakage current. So you need this circuit to do the measurement. And earth leakage current test, class 1. Normally you need to do connection such a way from PE to the equipment ground, and the measure your MV represent your multimeter. So these are you checking your ground wire to earth. So these are done in normal operation and single fault operation. When you talk about single fault condition, you do open neutral. So when you do normal condition, your leakage current should be less than 0.5 milliampere. Or if you see on the multimeter, it will show 0.5 millivolt. And single fault condition, open neutral, should be less than 1 milliampere. So for touch current, enclosure leakage current, you can do for class 1 and class 2. It's the same method. You got normal condition and single fault condition and single fault open neutral. So these are measurement that you use for B, BF, and CF, all that. So you can see the medical equipment. You connect to the protective earth line, and one of the connection going to the equipment. So you are checking the touch current or enclosure leakage current, point of touching. So you need to measure that particular leakage current. And a patient leakage current, class 1 and class 2. So almost similar, but what you do is you connect all the patient apply part as a group and you measure the leakage. You can do normal condition, single fault condition, open protective. For normal condition, the reading should be less than 0.1 for B and BF and 0.01 milliampere for CF. And single fault condition also almost similar, but for BF is B and BF is 0.5 milliampere. These are open earth for single fault and 0.05 milliampere for CF. And single fault condition open neutral is almost the same reading as a open protective earth. So this is how you do for class 1 and class 2 patient leakage current. This is the method you use by using multimeter. And you can see the checklist. This is how the checklist look like with the conversion, all that. And the reading on the tolerance is almost the same as the tolerance of IEC standard. That what you use daily on your safety analyzer. It's almost same, but it's limited test. You cannot test all the thing, but you can test whatever detail inside. So that's on the patient, on the electrical safety. So we're going to talk about disinfection of patient monitor a bit. When you talk about cleaning patient monitor, all that, you need to have need to clean the patient monitor every time you use. So the best method is by using a moist warm water, about 40 Celsius, and a bit diluted soap or detergent, dishwash, or alcohol-based cleaning agent. Wipe it carefully with your medical device, and do not use strong solvent things or such, Acton or something like that. It maybe change color of the material. So the best thing is using alcohol and dishwasher. You can get dishwasher in Cambodia easily, so you can wipe them carefully, all that. So always remember when you're wiping your medical device, all that, always avoid liquid entering the monitor, all that. Clean it, let them dry, all that. We don't want any water or solution enter into the medical device. So wipe around on the connector with the dry clothes, all that, dry material, and the connector socket should be dry, all that. We don't want any moisture or water enter to the particular thing. Precaution: keep your monitor modules, multi-measurement modules, all these rack, all cable free of dust and dirt. After cleaning and disinfection, check the equipment carefully. Check any wet spot, anything, and wipe it properly. And always dilute according to the manufacturing instruction. Use lowest possible of concentration of liquid, all that. Do not allow the liquid enter the equipment, all that. Be careful with that, because sometimes you at the back you get quite a lot of ventilation holes, all that. You ended up water start moist or anything going to get in that particular area, so you need to be careful with that. So do not pour liquid into the system. You know what will happen. And never use bleach, because it's going to change color and got some unwanted smell, all that. And material that you can use for Disinfection is something like local market brand like dishwasher detergent or dilute amino less than 3% with window cleaner. Alcohol, ethanol 70%, isopropyl 70% with window cleaner. You can mix that. That will be a recommendation for touchscreen, all that. So it can keep it clean and you don't have any transfer infection or something like that. Always remember, do not spill the liquid into the equipment and battery or accessories. Sometimes what happens is this can damage the equipment, can damage the battery lifespan, all that. And always remember, do not mix Clorox and amino. This can cause unwanted pleasant smell, all that, and can give you a respiratory issue. So be careful with that, and always follow what hospital policy that used in hospital to use the type of detergent, all that. And always remember, when you're using cleaning equipment, if you're talking about alcohol base, ethanol up to 70%, and that's a approval agent thing that we list down here. So just follow that particular thing. And patient monitor accessory cleaning. Normally what happens is you got blood pressure cuff, temperature probe, ECD cable, and SPO2 sensor. So after every patient, wipe the unit with the damp cloth or approved product. Do not use ethanol alcohol to clean this unit. It can damage the cable, all that. So like cuff, remember, clean it properly. Always after clean, allow dry through before you next use. For the NIBP cuff, temperature probe, wipe with alcohol damp cloth or wipe with a warm water and properly dilute non-stain disinfection. Do not. So these are things that you can use. And ECG cable, the clip maybe need to be cleaned and wiped properly, because sometimes what happens is you need to soak them because of the ECG electrode gel become dry and become hard. So the best thing is to soak and clean it out, the particular gel. And SPO2, the best thing is clean with isopropyl alcohol and mix with detergent or something like that. That will be a good thing, but do not use other than isopropyl alcohol, something else that can cause damage on your SPO2 sensor, the cable. I'll show that particular detail later on this particular PowerPoint. So on troubleshooting, okay, these are troubleshooting on patient monitor. Normally what happens is you got NIBP, temperature probe, SPO2, ECG, all this. So another problem that you see is like power supply failure due to unstable power and battery failure. So you need to check that particular part. So even a battery that you, a problem battery that you leave in your patient monitor can lead to failure of power supply. That can cause short circuit on the battery and cause the power supply to damage. So always remember, if your battery is broken or anything, do not keep into the patient monitor, just remove them and get the replacement and put it in. If you don't have replacement, do not leave the broken battery in the unit, because that can lead to a damage of power supply. Like module failure, like NIBP, ECG, all that, maybe due to wear and tear part inside, such as NIBP pump, that maybe lead to failure. So that the best thing is to check or replace the parts. Sometimes you need to replace the module. Depends on the condition. And accessories, you need to keep clean all that, but sometimes what happens is in long run, these accessories are wear and tear. Eventually the accessory fail, breaks, and leak, like an IBP will leak, all that. So you need to replace them. So always remember your accessories is not a permanent part of your equipment, that eventually you need to replace them actually. So like NIBP, you got issues like inaccurate results. So inaccurate cuff size, inaccurate cuff application, arrhythmia, irregular heart rate, rapid change of pressure, patient movement, all these can cause inaccurate results of the NIBP reading. So cuff is not placed on the heart level, all that. These are normally due to the clinical issue. They don't apply things properly for NIBP. That may lead your reading inaccurate. So always be careful when you're talking about inaccurate results of automated BP units. Always remember these particular things that you need to look into it when the user complains. Yep, this is what we've been talking actually. Inaccurate cuff size, all this. So always remember these are user issues normally, but if you got complaint from the user, check this thing whether they are applying things properly, or check if the thing is leak or something like that, check on the cuff and the tubing. So NIBP failure and lack of reading, inflation timeout alarm. This may be due to the leak cuff, and it ended up giving either inaccurate reading or showing inflate timeout alarm. So always check the tubing and the cuff connectors. Maybe that due to that leakage, it give you this particular timeout alarm. So block tubing can cause inaccurate reading or very high pressure, overpressure alarm. All that can cause due to the kink tubing or block tubing. So movement of the patient can cause unwanted reading. That's another problem that you can find. And most of the time, you need to make sure the patient is relaxed, smooth, and the NIBP connection is properly done, and in the proper point of your hand, all that. Then you'll get the reading. If you don't get the reading, something wrong. Maybe something wrong with the pump as well, or maybe the pneumatic valve. So NIBP pump module problem. That's one of the common thing that you're going to see. These are wear and tear part. The pump. Eventually, you need to replace the pump and calibrate the device. So some of it, NIBP pressure casing broken, NIBP pneumatic pump, and tubing leak, or the pneumatic pump fail. So you can see number one, NIBP module pump problem, and NIBP pressure casing broken. So these need to be replaced because it's a total broken pump pressure casing, and pneumatic pump and tubing, you can replace them actually. Like the pneumatic valve you can buy. So in most of the case, you're going to see the pump need to be replaced due to the lack of pressure output from the pump itself, because inside the membrane of the pump may be failed, so it doesn't push enough pressure. For SPO2 sensor, this is one of the common things that you're going to see: SPO2 cables broken and sensor broken, all that. Sometimes what you can do is to make sure that you don't push the sensor on your finger too deep. That can damage the particular rubber, all that, and you don't get accurate reading. And always use this damage can cause because of the incorrect cleaning solution that may be used by the user to clean them. So eventually damage the particular cables, and eventually it doesn't give any reading output, all that. So this is one of the common problem that you're going to see. The best thing is to use isopropyl alcohol, 70% or 60%. 70% is sufficient enough, and mix with the water detergent or something like that. Wipe it carefully. Do not pull the cable too much. That can damage the cable as well. So these are one of the common problems that you're going to see. Sometimes what you can do is fix them up properly, and you can use it temporarily until you got a replacement unit. So SPO2 sensor, on the problem that normally you're going to see is the oximeter will not pick up a patient heart rate or saturation. When you try to put it in with a damaged unit, you're not going to see any pickup signal. So always check whether the light is emitting or not, and check the receiver is receiving the particular signal or not. So always check with the multimeter, check inside the condition of the probe, all that. Sometimes maybe the cable have destroyed. So measure the particular cable line, maybe you can fix them, or sometimes you have to cut a certain part of the cable that damaged, need to do connection and connect temporary and use it. So that's another way of doing things. So that's another method you use. So you can see the back cover and photo detector, the LED on the circuit and the silicone, all that. When you open the particular casing, when you plug in with the device, you have to see the light is emitting. If you don't see the light, maybe something wrong with the cable or connection is not working properly. So you need to check which part of cable damage, all that. So do not force the pin. Make sure the pin is completely pushed properly, and check the light is emitting or not. If not, you can check which part of the cable need to be replaced, all that. For ECG cable, this is another normally a common issue. ECG has no signal due to the ECG gel dry. That's another common problem that you're going to see. The installation broken, resulting in signal interface on ECG. So what happens is when the insulator broken, you're going to get unwanted disturbance from outside other equipment. So all these are very common problem. And ECG gel dry, that can lead to your insulator breaks because of it become dry, and your insulator start to expand and breaks. Normally the solution is to check the clean the ECG dry gel thing, and keep it clean, all that, and check the lead wire patient cable for damage by using continuity tester or your multimeter on your ohms setting, and check whether between the ECG lead to the connector there's any continuity or not. That's the best thing to do. So you can see on the figure 2 the broken ECG cable. It is flexible to fix the particular thing. So if you don't have any extra stock, anything, you can do what you can fix them by using certain things, certain method. So you can still use them until you get the parts. So you can wrap a foil carefully around the ECG cable. Ensure the foil is electrically connected to the end of your original ECG cable shield, and wrap the foil tight in the wrap electrical tape. So you can see figure 1. We did wrap with the black tape, and these are temporary solution. So it can maybe last few months until you get a replacement ECG cable. So you can see we did wrap with the black tape on the particular ECG cable. So some people did ask component level troubleshooting on the medical device. Yeah, you can do certain testing, but you have to know that we are most of medical equipment nowadays using SMD, SMT level of circuit. That means the circuit become very small. All that space of for repairing is more difficult because your component size becomes small. All that is not easy, and soldering connecting may not stand for certain temperature that can cause your multi-layer board to expand and lose the connection. You can damage because of the thermal cycle. So you need to have a proper tools to do this particular device, especially when you do SMD level repair. You need to have heat gun, SMD removal, all this anti-static surface to do a proper repair and proper lights, because if you don't use a proper light, all this can cause your eyes damage because the component are very small. So always be careful when you deal with SMT circuit. Surface mount technology is the thing is it's a new feature thing. Every electronic board you're going to see these particular parts. It's becoming smaller and smaller day by day. Okay, now we're going to talk about case studies that happened in Ethiopia. So we got almost like 10 cases. Okay, case number 1, machine does not turn on. So the problem that they found is like loose connection, power supply unit damage, power supply switching transformer fail. So these are common things that they found during their troubleshooting on the medical device. So what they did is replace the damaged component with the correct setting. Some of the components like capacitor, fuse, blown, they replace with the correct parts and connect back the wire properly, tight them because some cables are loose, all that. And some power supply, they do what? They replace the power supply and did the electrical safety, all that after replacement and fix back all the equipment. On the case study number 2, no display. This is one of the problem that normally you're going to see on the LCD screen or other patient monitor. So you can see damaged LCD screen. The problem they found out: loose connection, damaged screen, damaged LCD backlight power inverter board. So what they did is corrective action is connect the wire and tight them. And screen replacement, because the screen already broken, they replace the screen and they replace the backlight LCD power inverter board because it damaged as well. So what happened is when the screen damage, it intend to damage the inverter as well. So they did replace all this and it's working actually. Blur display. So sometimes you're going to get a blur display due to the LCD driver or loose connection with the LCD wire. So the best thing is either you can repair or replace them. That's a 2 method of doing it. Normally the loose connection you can fix back and see whether it's working properly or not, or you can replace them. Case study number 4, on-off switch is not working. So what happened is the membrane key does not touch the internal switch. The connecting between the switch is not working. So they did some modification to make the contact point between the switch. So eventually when you try to power on, you can on. So this is one of the thing that they did some changes. So case study number 5, the selector switch is also not working. The push button doesn't reach the contact point. So what they did is they open up the particular screen, the particular unit, and check and did some modification on the push button switch, and did check the push button, and they did some changes. Eventually it works. Sometimes you need to replace that particular push button if it doesn't work. But this particular thing is like uh, maybe it's not damaged, but it didn't work properly. So they did some cleaning, all that. They put it back, it's working. Case study number 6, NIBP cuff does not inflate. So the thing that they identify is damage sensor on the main board and NIBP cuff leakage. So they replaced the board of the NIBP damage sensor on the main board. So they replaced that particular part, and they replaced the new cuff, and eventually they tested and they calibrate the particular device. Now it's working actually. So it's very straightforward with the NIBP. So another issue, NIBP pump failure. So unit pump fail, there are no power reaching to the pump, cable loose and disconnect. So what happened is they check the particular pump. The pump need to be replaced, and they got the parts. They did replace the part, and they checked the connection of the cable is loose. So they did fix back the connection, all that. So with the new pump, everything is working fine now. EMS module display turn off after a few minutes. Okay, this particular unit, using a module type. So this module is where all the parameters are connected, like ECG, SPO2, NIBP cuff, all that are connected here, and the pump all are measured from here. So what happened is the cable between the unit on the main patient monitor to EMS unit are not connected properly. It doesn't connect properly. Loose cable connection between the main board, LCD main board of this particular screen. So they did open up and readjust back the particular connector, and eventually it works. So there's no replacement of part actually. So EMS module cannot be interfaced between the patient monitor. So EMS module socket tilt to the side. So this particular EMS module, there's a socket at the back that's supposed to connect with the patient monitor. It doesn't connect properly due to the EMS module socket are broken. So they did repair back and fix it properly, and did some connection issue, and they tested it's working. So they didn't replace the part as well, but they did do a repair work. No SPO2 signal detected. So this is user problem. They use a wrong probe connection. So they replace with a new cable connector, and you can see the connector F7, the actual probe got 10. So they replaced that particular connector. Now it's working actually. It's because of the connector is wrong. So that's the case study, the 10 case study from Ethiopia. Back to Aaron.
Thanks, Gina. Just a quick shout out to all of our contributors, the team from Tegbard for providing those case studies, as well as the team from Tanzania providing all of the photos that we use during electrical safety, and a bit about patient monitors. We're very grateful for your participation, so thank you for continuing to come to these sessions week after week. It really does help us understand what you're going through and what you kind of need from us. So thank you. If you want to see the original Ethiopia case study, you can go to the assistinternational.org website /COVID-19 resources, and you can view that one as well as this one. So we're going to open things up for discussion now. If you have any questions, you can feel free to share those in the chat. I'm going to put the link that I just mentioned there as well. And additionally, you can now fill out our poll. Again, this is just to get your feedback and make sure that all of our content is actually relevant to you. So next week's session will be about sharing experiences from before COVID, during COVID, and hopefully moving forward into after COVID. So if anybody wants to share, please reach out. We'd love to have you. But in the meantime, we're happy to take your questions about electrical safety, doing electrical safety with a multimeter rather than an electrical safety analyzer, and anything you have about patient monitors as well.
Aaron, so we got any Cambodia representative for next week so far? Okay, can I suggest something? Moni, can we suggest someone?
Go ahead.
It's very straightforward. Wow, can you do some presentation, your experience?
Go Go
Wow, please, wow.
Come on. No, he agreed.
Sorry, a little bit busy, bro.
Busy.
No, ôn chi tầm mà mau tới vài gì. Thôi
Wow,
mình
make a simple presentation, wow.
Ta phải làm đầm tí tới ban này, rồi cái đầm tí ban này. Là trong thư ấy xua Guna tới đầm bay ơi quạt ơiประธานบอสrồi quạt bên presentation dẹp vô mò tới còn thư đầm nán tới. Không riêng mà cái nóผมไปเจนจะมาคุณđây.
Sorry, bro. Sorry, not this time, bro.
You always know this time, huh?
And there's no need to bring slides or anything like that either. If you just want to talk about it, that's welcome.
Bài thơ slide các bạn đây và bài thơ slide là chơi chia cả này sắc xa rồi cả này chạy slide nhưng chụp từ về ăn này đây về ăn bên phanh hai thì ta động tí các bạn đây bài slide bài ấy thằng giấy còn lơ ra giấy hướng cạnh đấy pet mấy ấy mấy vì môn riêng mấy lơ riêng hay mấy chôn mấy ấy mấy thế này. Ok mẹ trắng cái này.
Talk about your experience, guys.
Hả?
The ball là. Nhưng từ thứ preventive maintenance hay nó rồi đời TPED
tết cào lục pre lồng chai tết cào tí tết cào đập này tí đó thứ đập tí hay ta tới
lục pre hơi ba đi
đó có Guna
yeah
qua thà lục pre hay ba này
you say no
he say no.
That's okay. It's a shame. He was the only one we can see. The rest of you are all Kithrathamo.
All hiding.
So we can't call out any other names.
And now we're also hiding.
Lấy khang tí phép xây tiết ai phải tranh một ban ấy ai cho room chạy lấy ban ấy đọc này tí rồi gặp hẹp đọc tí nè để đặt khơi đoạn video tranh múa này ta ai chứ nơi ấy nè từng ở nên nơi ban nơi đạp ấy. I think let me talk to them. I'll let you know.
That sounds really good. Again, no need to do this in English. No need to bring slides. Just come sort of as you are, and just feel free to share.
Another person you can ask is Mr. Kampot.
I will check with someone. I will check and let you know who's going to be the.
Yeah, share some experience. That'll be good actually.
Yeah, And when they come up with any topic, I'll let you know, Aaron.
That sounds really great. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Okay,
There don't
no
seem
problem.
to be other questions, so I'll go ahead and stop now. Thanks again, everybody, for participating. And we'll talk to you again next week. Perhaps Moni will talk to you sooner.
Okay.
Yeah.